Hello and welcome to another episode of the Grateful Redhead podcast. Today we're talking shoes. Who doesn't love shoes? I am so happy that Jordan was able to join me today and talk about her line of sustainable. Right now she has a shoe. It's a house shoe, but she is expanding that line and we'll be getting a little bit further into that as we talk today. So I'm going to let Jordan introduce herself. Tell us, Jordan, how did you get to designing shoes and what were you doing before? And did that give you any skills or abilities to start this business and be successful with it?
Yeah, well, first of all, Angie, thank you so much for having me here. I'm super excited to be chatting with you today and share a little bit about my brand Dooeys. I'm the founder of Dooeys. We make stylish house shoes designed for comfort and made from plant-based and recycled materials. And I have no experience in the shoe industry, let alone the fashion industry. My background is actually in startups and management consulting. I worked at a beauty startup for 4 years, and then I transitioned into management consulting. And it just so happened that it was a time in my life where I moved abroad. I was open to, other career opportunities, and I just started writing down business ideas. So I think something inside me was like, knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, yet I didn't know it myself. And I came across this idea for stylish house shoes, and it came about from a personal need of I began working from home. I was living in Amsterdam. I was trying to build good habits, being at home all day in my apartment. And I was tired of wearing ugly, unsupportive slippers on my feet at home. Or sometimes I'd choose to wear my outdoor sneakers just to be comfortable. And so I started, doing what anybody does. You go online or go to your local stores and you try to find what you're looking for. And I just couldn't find any slipper out there that had some style to it and actual foot support. And so that's when I set out to create it myself. That's a little bit about like my past experience. I think I had worked in startups, really gave me some of that foundation that I needed, I think, to have the confidence to know what a startup's like and being excited about kind of venturing into this new opportunity that I was creating.
I always love to hear when businesses are started out of a personal need. I feel like that gives us really the backbone and the gumption to keep going on the days when we might not feel like things are going to work out. So I like that you brought up looking for a supportive shoe. I'm in Central Florida. Spent most of my life in flip-flops and sandals because of the Florida lifestyle. But as I've gotten older, my heels and my feet have definitely taken the brunt of standing on hard surfaces and walking on hard surfaces without any support. How did you find out what support would be valuable and why is the support important when we're in a house shoe?
Yeah, I mean, support's important for so many reasons. It's not just how your feet feel, it's how they're then supporting your knees and supporting your whole body, your posture, your back, all of that. So, and finding the right support for your feet, if you have high arches, if you have flat feet, all that, it helps your body in so many ways. And so for me, I've always been someone that's leaned towards comfort shoes. But like my passion in life was always trying to combine style and comfort. I like to be stylish, but I'm not the girl rocking heels. And so, I'm always one of those people that when I find a product that combines those two things, I have to tell the world. And so it was really great when I came up with an idea that actually blended that because it made me even more passionate about what I'm doing. But yeah, for me, it was just, not having background in the shoe industry. I did a lot of testing. I did a lot of research. I tried a bunch of different insoles, with different materials and different cushioning. Obviously surveyed other women and had a lot of women try, every single prototype that I made. And so it was really a learning process. And I think that iterative approach really helped me in the end, I think, come out with the best house shoe that I possibly could. And I'm continuing to improve it today.
Do you think that being over there in Amsterdam gave you kind of a leg up or a foot up for
You know,
finding some suppliers and people who could, kind of bring your thoughts to reality?
such a good question because, yes, I feel like in my mind, when I look back, the stars aligned. Like, I had this inkling that I wanted to start a business. I came up with this idea, and this idea just so happened to come at a time when I'm in the middle of, Europe, where they're known for making high quality clothing and shoes. And so for me, I was able to source a lot of my materials in Europe, and I decided to produce my shoes at a small factory in Portugal. And I didn't know this before, I came into this industry, but Portugal is really well known for creating high quality footwear, but at a lower price than Italy. Italy is obviously like very well known for footwear, but Portugal also does such a great job. But you don't have to price your product at $300 just to recoup your costs. So it really, I do feel like living abroad also helped me kind of open my mind to other things. Like, I was born and raised in Seattle. It was, I went to school in Southern California for a little bit, but other than that, I hadn't really gotten out of like, my comfort zone and my element. And moving abroad really helped me just become more open to new things and new ideas and new career paths. And I think all of it played a part in me launching this brand.
So tell me about obviously my podcast here is about how we're doing good for ourselves or other people, but connecting that to the planet somehow. And you mentioned at the very beginning that this is, a vegan leather. And how did that come about? Is this a lifestyle you live, or did you just know that you needed to use something that was more sustainable? Tell us a little bit about that background and how it plays into your growing the line, because I understand that you are also bringing out a sandal, which I'm super excited to hear about.
Yeah. So when I first came up with the idea, it was all about style and comfort, but it was at a time where personally I was being more conscious in what I consumed. So I was, beginning to, really research brands that I was purchasing from, and, knowing what materials they were using. So I think it was at a time where I was doing that personally. And then when I'm having this idea to create a stylish, comfortable shoe and researching the fashion industry, you quickly realize, like, based on the data, the fashion industry has such a terrible impact on the environment. It's responsible for up to 10% of annual global carbon emissions. So just that one fact alone was like, stopped me in my tracks and was like, if I can't do this in a sustainable way, like, I'm not going to do it at all. So I really spent a year and a half like designing and sourcing every material that went into these shoes. So, at the end of it, I decided the route that I wanted to go was I wanted the shoes to be made from only plant-based and recycled materials. So they're 100% vegan. One of your past podcasts actually brought up a really good point that when people say plant-based, that doesn't always mean vegan. So I want to call out they are 100% vegan. And so, yeah, that was from my research, I was like, I want to do this in my mind the right way, which is choosing high quality vegan materials. So you mentioned, vegan leather. I've chosen to use something called apple leather, which takes basically the waste from the apple juice industry. They're able to take the cores and the skins from apples that otherwise would be thrown out, and they're able to grind that down into a powder and repurpose it into a, bio-based vegan leather. And so that's just one example. Like, my soles are made with sugarcane, and they're sneaker-like soles, super comfortable, but they just so happen to like replace the petroleum-based substance in them with sugarcane. So it's just making choices like that and taking the time to find these very innovative, sustainable materials that I think is so important in any brand today. And I'm so glad that consumers are, have been and are continuing to look for better products and that are being made from better materials.
So I just have to say, whoa, 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 what? Did you say apple leather? Like,
Yeah.
I had no idea this was even possible. So you have to expound on, like, how did you even how did you find out about that?
Every material was like, I equate it to like, it was just like a hunt. Like, it was like, all right, like, I think this is my overall design. I kind of came together with that, but I had no idea what materials existed. I'd heard about pineapple leather. So I was like, all right, I know that's out there. But at the time, I mean, this was late 2017, early 2018 when I was looking, and some of this stuff wasn't as readily available. So yeah, let's see, apple leather. I think I just read article after article online and then finally found a brand that, wasn't using pineapple leather. They were using apple leather, and that really aligned with like the aesthetic that I was going for. Apple leather, I have my shoe here, so it has a much like, this apple leather that I chose has a much like smoother finish, whereas pineapple leather, huge fan of it, just wasn't right for the aesthetic of my brand. And so that was just through, finally stumbling across a brand and then hunting down the supplier through LinkedIn and reaching out. And, like I mentioned, sugarcane soles, that was me just showing up at an event in Amsterdam where someone from Allbirds was speaking. And I just, I didn't corner them, but after the event, I was like, hi, such a big fan. May I speak with you? And they were actually able to connect me with someone in Allbirds that was able to connect me with one of their suppliers that makes this sugarcane EVA compound. So it really was just like, you got to connect the dots. You got to chase down each little aspect of your product.
But you just bring up a really important point for any entrepreneur or business owner. Just ask the questions, right? You could have thought of a million reasons not to ask this person who was probably feeling like they were well above you, right, in this business, in this industry, and a million reasons why not to ask them. But you took that chance. You asked the question. And now you've got this amazing sugarcane sole, which is a wonderful story in itself on how I feel that as business owners, we are willing to help those who ask us, but they have to come and ask because we don't know what people need. What are they looking for out there? I always take the time. I've had a few questions. I've got a few emails over the years of other business owners who are inquiring about how to do something, or they're kind of at a block or a moment. I'm more than happy to spend some time and answer their questions or do the best that I can to share with them my experience, and maybe that helps them along their journey as well. But I think that even for myself, sometimes I get a little blocked because I feel like, oh well, they're so much busier than I am, or why would they want to stop and help me? So I'm really glad that you brought up that point in your business, that taking those moments to ask can really catapult you to places that we might not have even realized that they were possible for us. So kudos to you, Jordan, for doing that.
Thank you. And like, I'll say to, people that are maybe shyer out there, like I'm much more reserved. I'm an introvert, but finding something that you're passionate about will give you the energy and the confidence you need to like go outside your comfort zone and ask those questions and go up to people. Like I probably wouldn't have done that in in my personal life, but knowing that I cared so much about creating a quality product made from sustainable materials, it gave me the confidence I needed to be able to walk up to someone and ask those questions, or even to ping someone on LinkedIn. It's really important to put yourself out there to make the best product you possibly can.
Very well said. So let me ask you, the term house shoe, right? It really, I feel like it's slipper. It's what I have called a slipper. So are those two words interchangeable?
They are. I tend to use house shoe because I don't think of a slipper as something that offers support. And so the term house shoe, our shoes are really, they're just as well built as an outdoor shoe. They have the arch support. They have the sneaker-like soles. So I really consider them to be like high quality supportive shoes that are for home. So, something that I use, I say slippers, but it's, I try to move towards house shoe, or I've trademarked the term slip shoe to combine the two, saying this is a very supportive shoe. It also combines the coziness of a slipper, so it's a slip shoe. But when you're trying to get your brand out there, it's hard to introduce all these new terms as well. So it's something I'm working through. But you are right; it's interchangeable. It's just, I guess, it's the support side that I think the differentiator is a lot of some women that are looking for support usually come to me and say, like, I'm looking for a house shoe because they want a supportive shoe for home.
And is it designed for women? Is this men? What's the difference between trying to design a shoe for, different body types?
Yeah. So right now we make our shoes only in women's sizes. We do plan to expand into men's. Kind of our next goals, we're expanding our women's styles. So as you mentioned, like we're coming out this summer with a house sandal so that women have, supportive slippers to wear in the summer, especially like if you're in Florida and warmer climates where you're like, I can't wear that cozy shoe in the winter. I need something open-toed and breathable.
In the
So we're
summer,
coming
yeah.
out with that. And then I do want to extend our reach to men as well, because they deserve good house shoes too. So that's really the next step in growing the brand. And in terms of like sizes and, there is a bit of difference in like the design of the shoe for men versus women of what they want the shoe to look and feel like. But it really comes down to like the equipment and everything of, we have 14 sizes for women. So expanding all that equipment and tooling for men is kind of the next step. And so it's a big step. And so I'm just trying to make sure we get everything right with women before we make that leap.
Smart, smart. Is there a reason why you don't market it as like a regular everyday shoe and that you chose to market it as a house shoe? Because it seems like it's got all the value and durability and support of like a regular shoe.
Yeah, it does. If you need to walk to the mailbox, they're not going to fall apart. Like they're very high quality, durable shoes. But like one thing that I like to say is your home is a sanctuary and your shoes should reflect that. So I'm a big fan of taking outdoor shoes off when you enter the home and putting on something that's clean, not going to track dirt around the house. I mean, there is so much that your shoes can pick up on a sidewalk that you don't even want to think about where that goes in your home. So I'm a big fan of that. And therefore, your house shoes, you can wear them outside the house if that's what you choose to do. But I'm a fan of keeping the house shoes for the home and keeping your outdoor shoes for the outdoors and just having that little bit of boundary there for, germs, dirt, but also just like clean your house a little less. If you're not tracking all that in, you don't have to vacuum as much. So that's how I look at it.
I see. So, and because this came out of your initial need of finding a supportive shoe to wear while you're at home, and you believe in the importance of why we remove our shoes. I've read a few articles over the years which were really disturbing. So I think if whoever is listening right now and you wonder what the advantage is of really taking off your outdoor shoes when you come in your house, just Google that, because you will be amazed on the articles that are written about how people have done like that blue light scanner and checked for germs and stuff. It's pretty overwhelming to realize what we track into our house, and the fact that we don't see that's why it tends not to bother us. So it's very interesting that you do talk about that and the importance of why house shoes are a benefit, not just really a luxury, because it could be any shoe that you're wearing in your house, but the fact that you're leaving your outdoor shoes pretty much at the door can really change the way that you bring dirt in the house. So
Definitely.
tell me about the sandals. Super curious about that.
Yeah. I have them here so I can give you a sneak peek.
Oh, good. For those who are watching on video, you get a sneak peek. They're not even out yet.
Yeah. So these are our house sandals. They're coming out. Hopefully we'll have them. They're being made in June and then they're made in Portugal. So hopefully we'll have them ready to ship in July. But yeah, just the same comfort that you'll find we have house loafers and house mules right now. So the loafers are kind of, they have a back to them and just super comfy for every day at home. And then the mules for those that provide or enjoy a backless shoe, we have that option. But the sandal, just that open-toed shoe, but still has the what I like to say, like the full upper piece that, holds your foot in place.
Right.
Still the soft lining inside, that it's made from organic cotton, but it's not super thick. So it's not going to insulate and keep your feet warm. But yeah, just cute, stylish sandal that still has an element of cozy to wear at home in the summer. I'm
Very
super
nice.
excited about it.
Yeah, I forgot now that you're saying that. I think at the beginning of this, I did mention that you had one shoe, and technically you have two already available because one has the back and one had the kind of slip in style. So thanks for bringing
Exactly.
that up.
Yeah.
I love your story. I love how it all started. So tell me a little bit about the name, Dooeys.
Yeah. So, fun fact, the word "doei" means goodbye in Dutch. So I lived in Amsterdam for 4 years. We had an apartment that was, just down tiny streets, and just down the street were two schools. And so every morning, parents would drop off their children, and they'd say "doei," and you could just hear it echoing down the street. And they just always said it very. I mean, they're speaking to their children, but like they always said it very enthusiastically, and it just. My husband and I were both like, it just made us feel good. So honestly, Dooeys just comes from I basically designed and developed this brand while living in Amsterdam. So it's kind of a nod to the birth of Dooeys there by having the name be a Dutch word. And then I just adjusted the spelling slightly just so, because my primary market is the US, I wanted it to be like phonetically just easy to read and easy to say. So
So you
it's just
spell
a
it
fun word.
D like in David, Ooeys, correct? Dewey's?
Yes, that's correct.
And it's not spelled like that in Dutch.
It's spelled Doei.
Oh, yeah, we would have never have grasped
Yeah,
onto that. So smart
yeah,
move on the Deweys,
yeah.
Dooeys. Very good. Well, this has been a really enlightening conversation. I had checked out your website before and I was like, these shoes look really cool. The price point was, I think, about 100 US dollars. Was that right?
We're at our price point for both styles is 140, but we are offering $10 off for those that sign up for our newsletter. They're 130.
Okay, very nice. Well, they look beautiful. I love all of the thought that you put behind it, why you decided to choose, going with more of a plant-based. Love the fact that this apple leather and we're taking scraps of food and turning it into viable, products that we can use again and again. So, with that said, what do we do with the shoes at the end? Is there some sort of process that we can put them through to get more life out of the shoe again? Or
Yeah,
what does
so
that look
right now, yeah, so I really appreciate it. I think it was your last podcast with Stephanie, maybe a couple podcasts ago, that you guys talked about like you got to start somewhere. So this brand, I've been selling the shoes for less than 2 years, and to me, it's important to start somewhere. So we've started with using plant-based and recycled materials. Our packaging is made from recycled cardboard and recycled paper. We offset all of our the carbon emissions that we produce from our shipping. We offset that for every order shipped. But all that's to say, we don't have a circular process for like returning the shoes yet and breaking those down and creating new shoes from it. That's the end goal. But I believe as a small business owner, like I'm my only full-time employee. So it's like, we need to take baby steps to get there, but that's really the end goal. I will say our house shoes aren't like your normal slippers where maybe you wear them for a season and you're like, oh, those things like smell and are all worn out. I probably can't wear those another season. I'm still wearing my first pair from our first production back in,
wow?
the first production was July of 2020. I'm still wearing those, rocking them every day. So all that's to say, these have a long life, but eventually we would like to reach the, circular product goal of you being able to return your Dooeys to us and us being able to, put those into a new shoe one day. But we're not quite there yet.
Well, we gotta have more goals ahead. So
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
really good one that you have on the list to try to accomplish. And I think you will. We're surrounded with so many people now who are wanting to see this kind of action taking place, and we've got the ability to tap into people more so than ever. Just like you said, reaching out to people on LinkedIn, getting connected with the right people who are doing some of this stuff already. We just need it scaled down to more smaller businesses like ourselves to be able to make it work. So, how do you clean the shoes?
Yeah, so cleaning the shoes is really easy. So that the apple leather that we use, like honestly, you could spill tomato sauce and you can just, take a rag and wipe it right off and you're done. I do recommend, we do have a suede made from recycled polyester. So for that, it's something where it's kind of like normal suede, where it's more of a spot treatment approach. But we did design the shoes. So most of the time, if something drops on your foot, it usually drops on the front part and it will hit the apple leather. It's less likely that it's going to hit back here. So the back is more of like a spot treatment. Like if some people have a little suede brush, that's really helpful. And then, yeah, it's just super easy to wipe the sneaker like soles down. And then for those that, the other recommendation that we have is, our shoes aren't like super smelly or anything like that. But some people, when they do wear their shoes, if these become their everyday shoes at home, I always like to say, like putting a little charcoal packet inside at night is a nice way to keep them, give them a little refresh.
Little freshness.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Good to know, because I feel like there's going to be a pair in my future. So it's good to know. It's been really nice talking to you today, Jordan. You're really, a woman on a mission. And I love that, because we really do need to make these areas, especially like fashion and, we do cleaning products and body products. And these are typical areas that we see so much waste in, whether it come from the packaging or the end result of how the product is used. So I love to see forward thinkers like you. And I'm so grateful that you made time to, be on my show today. So is there anything else that you would like to share with our listeners about what you're doing and what you've been doing?
I guess all I would say is, like, if you're interested, you can find us at Dooeys.com. I also, like, little tidbit about myself is I recently competed on a TV show called $1 Billion Idea, and my episode airs May 10th. So anyways, just something, a little fun fact. If you're interested in learning more about the brand or about my journey, you can see it through that. But yeah, thank you, Angie. Just thank you so much for having me, and thank you to everybody for listening. And I hope we can connect.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Instagram is at Dooeys.slipshoes. So anybody that wants to connect with us there, well, that's where you'll find us.
Is that your, are you on Instagram only, or are you also available on LinkedIn?
Yes, we're on LinkedIn, and you can, anybody can find me directly on LinkedIn. It's, Jordan Dix Clark is my name. So you can find me there.
Yeah, because I feel like there will be some people who are inspired by your story and found, your process really interesting. And maybe they're looking at ways to try to reduce something in the fast fashion industry that really needs to be adjusted. We've been doing that fast fashion for way too long, and it's time for a lot of people to kind of step up and say, I think I can do this, and to take that leap. So you just might be a good inspiration for a couple listeners, which would be amazing.
Well, I love connecting with other entrepreneurs. So yes, say that again. Reach out. I love connecting with other entrepreneurs and founders and all that. So if I can be a resource at all, please to those listening, reach out.
Awesome. Thank you for saying that. Well, we've had another wonderful episode today. I am so grateful that, people like Jordan find their way into my life and they're able to make time and we can have these cool discussions. So if you know somebody like Jordan doing amazing things out in the world, please connect me. I would love to get a chance to sit down and speak with them as well. And, until we all meet again, please be kind to one another and love each other. Peace out.